Can you see my screen right now? You should see the terminal and the VS Code. Okay, you can see it. Thank you. Okay, so I will start by creating our um, main.py file because, as I mentioned, we're going to be using Python 3 as our language. So I will have that created right there, right next to the terminal. And before we start, we will install our packages, which I already have installed. But if you want to install them, I'm just sending you the codes in the chat, comments, chat. You can just copy and paste them to your terminal, and you'll have them installed. Also, let me show you how it's done. You copy and paste it. If it's not installed, it will install it, and if it's installed, it will say requirement already satisfied. So for all of those three comments, you have to go ahead and paste your code. Okay. So also let me ask you, is anybody following? I mean, is anybody doing alongside with me while watching? How many are we? Little bit. Okay. Okay, you're doing great. Who else? You'll try your best to follow. Okay, and I will try my best to make you guys follow. I will slow down whenever you want, whenever you ask questions. So that's okay. Please try to follow. Definitely, you will learn better by doing. So make sure that you did. Also, if you have the code, of course, I will send you the code after we finish it. If I can send it from the Zoom chat. But if you have your own written code, it will be more fun, I think. Okay. So if you have your prerequisites installed, let's continue with writing our first few lines of code. So obviously we're going to need those packages that we have just installed. So we have to import them. So let's import them. We will import requests. Beautiful soap 4. We will import beautiful soap. Beautiful soap. And we will import pandas as CD and use it like that. Okay. So that will get us started, hopefully. So before we proceed, let me ask you a couple of questions. What do you guys know about web scraping, and what do you understand of it? What does it mean to you, web scraping? Or has anybody ever scrapped the web before?
Only thing I know is it's a way to pull data online quickly.
Okay, great. Getting knowledge from websites, it's getting data from websites. Exactly. So, for example, let me give you an example from my university course years. If you ever had those times when you're trying to select courses and everybody's rushing to the university's website and the service crashes, you have to be really quick to be able to get to the service, reach out to the service and choose whatever courses you like. And you have to be really fast in there. Of course, if you try to do it by clicking with your humanly speed, it's not enough because other people are spamming. Some people are getting help from their friends, family, and they're trying to log into the system with a couple of computers. So it's really hard if you try to get those courses with your humanly speed. And one thing that you could do at that point, for example, was web scraping. And I actually tried that as a second year computer science student. I tried to get my courses with web scraping. I wanted to be fast and I wanted to get my courses automatically. And then as a result, obviously, I got banned from the system. And then I had to contact the office and then remove the ban. I just spoke with them on the phone. I was not about to attend that year's class because what I did. But if I were a little bit more careful, I would have actually be successful at it. But yes, I wasn't careful and they caught me, and I got it removed, but it was all okay then. But of course, not every website punishes the web scraping like this, and mostly it is free because basically it's free data to collect on the internet. It's there without using the computers. You can read it and you have access to it. So it's not illegal or anything, but some sites, some websites can ban you from doing that because we're going to be sending a lot of requests to the website, and that might be overwhelming for the instances of that website. But if that's not a problem for that website, a couple more requests per second, if that's not a big issue, it won't be a problem. So it's not illegal. It won't cause any problem to the other site you're sending the request to. I haven't used it, but I understand you're getting data sometimes specific from sites. Yeah, exactly. It's basically getting data from sites. Also, the stuff that we use for scraping data and obtaining data can be used to interact with the website also. For example, clicking the buttons, sending other kind of requests, and etc. It can be used for that. We will see that today. This request library here does that. It helps us send some HTTP requests to the server and interact with the web resources of that website. Okay, if you don't have any questions so far, let's keep going. Okay, in the article, I have chosen this website right here to scrap, and it is men's sports shorts. I don't know when at the time I was preparing the article, I decided on that topic for some reason. And it's eBay, and it is an eBay search for men's sports shirts. So that's what we're going to be scrapping today. So we will have to obtain that link and save that link as a variable in here on Python. So let me open that and save it. So make sure you have that also, because that's the very fundamental thing we have to do. We have to choose a target, and then we have to save that here so that we don't need to paste that link each time we want to send a request to it. Okay, let me actually open that website in front of you and show it to you as well. Okay, here it is. So it's a basic eBay site which where men's sports shorts keyword was searched, and this is the results that comes up. This could have been whatever. This could have been a social media website, news website, another e-commerce website. The important thing in here is that if you click inspect in here, or if you can also go from here, this is the quickest way to do it. If you click inspect, the thing is that you can see the HTML code in here, okay? Safari, I'm not sure if you can do this on Safari, but on Chrome, you can do it like this. You click inspect and get it open. So whatever you see in here, the UI I'm talking about, you can see its HTML code in here. And that's how we're going to be scrapping the data in here. We're going to be using this HTML data. And that's why you have to have some basic HTML knowledge to begin with. But even if you don't know HTML at all, from the stuff that I'm going to be doing here today, you'll get to understand it a little bit, and you will have the enough knowledge to interpret data and scrap data on the web with today's lesson. So let's inspect it a little bit. As you can see, if I hover over it, it shows me which portion of the website's code is that. Okay, so if I hover over body in here, it shows me that it's the whole thing. If I go inside that and say, let's hover over some parts in here, for example, that part right there is that small portion of the website right there. If you keep going and hover here, for example, see something that appears, body, we have in here. Yeah, that's the top of the screen, for example. And what we're looking for in here is this middle part right here, right? Because the data we want to collect is in there. So I have to be looking for that. Let's go in here. Where is that? This one. Yeah, it's this one. See, so we found it. It's probably under this one right here. As you hover over it, you can see that it's this portion now. We go inside that as well. So it's this portion. We go inside that as well. If you hover over this, it's this one. And here we have a UL, okay? UL means unordered list. So this is probably the list of items. And if you hover over it, as you can see, we now see the dotted lines in there in between the items. And we understand that this is the list of the items we're looking for. And we're looking to scrap this, okay? And if I go under that, we see that there's a lot of lists. Li means list. And there are a lot of lists, and those lists are basically the items. Okay, and under those lists, we have a division, and under those division, we have two parts of that. And under that, we have the portion of the item where we have the information for the name, price, pre-international shipping information, and etc. Okay, we have all that information, and that's the information we're looking for. So we have to be able to reach to this division right in here automatically. Okay, that's what you're looking for. With my human eye, with my human skills, I was able to reach to it, and I'm able to read it right now through the HTML code. But I want to be able to reach to these really rapidly, and I want to be able to collect all of this data right here. Okay, I want to create a table out of them, or whatever kind of data collection data model I want to create that out of these items in here. So let's get back to our code. As now we have interpreted the HTML code. Now we have to write a couple of lines which will enable us to reach to that code, that HTML code I'm talking about, automatically using. So here I will create a variable called my content, where I will be getting the whole HTML code for my content. Okay, so this my content right here will have all of this code right here. Okay, all of it. Not only the portion I'm looking for, but all of it. And how do I obtain that? I send a GET request to the URL I have saved previously, the link I have saved previously. And this is how that's done. Request is the package we had loaded previously. And then I do requests.get, and then here I paste the URL. And that's saved as a variable for me, so I use that variable. And this will save all the HTML code into here, my content. Okay. And then we have this really nice library called Beautiful Soap, and we will use that to manage this data. Okay, right now the whole HTML code is brought to me as text. Okay, and the divisions, the lists, the parts inside it, the technical details inside it is not understood by this variable right here. This is a basic text variable, string variable. This is this is a basic string. So I would like to interpret this content with its divisions, lists, with its parts of it, and I would like to be able to access to those parts. For example, when I say bring me all the lists, it will bring me all the lists automatically. I would like to interpret it in that way. For that, we have this really nice library called Beautiful Soap. So we will use that. What this does is it organizes the string basic text as HTML code. So after I format it in Beautiful Soap, I am from there on, I will be able to access to each division in here, script in here, list in here. Exactly. So that's what we're going to be doing here. I will create a soap object in here. I will call it soap. And in there, we will say beautiful soap content dot content, and we'll say HTML parts. Yeah. So once I do this, my content will be extracted as a beautiful soap object, and I will be able to access to the divisions and ULs inside it. And that's what I'm looking for. After I do it, I will be, for example, able to find this. Where is that again? Yes, find this UL right here, which I'm looking for. Was that? Yes, this one right here. This division, I'm looking for that. I will be able to easily find that using its ID, its class, it being a division. That information is also good. So I will be able to access that portion quickly thanks to this beautiful SOAP library. Do you guys have any questions so far? How many are following? Okay, great. Okay, we got at least 3 people following as far as I can see. That's great. Okay, great. Seems like there are no questions. Okay, so now that I have my HTML code, next step, I have to be looking for this division right here, okay? Now my goal is to find that, but with code. So we have to tell the code to go and get that list or go and get that division somehow. And how that's done is, we will use this method called find, which belongs to the soup object. We will call that method over our soup object, and we will enter some information of the data we're looking for in there, the division we're looking for in there. And thanks to that method and those information, it will automatically remove all the rest of the HTML code, and it will only bring up the portion we're interested in. Okay, so let me show you how this. On the article, I called it everything. Let's call it the UL. Let's call it UL basically, but that might be that might have some problems in the future, so let's call it the UL. Okay. So I will do soap.find, and in here the information that you enter is important. So let's go back in here and remember what we were looking for. So we are looking for this portion right here. So it's a UL. Okay. The first information that you enter is a UL. And then there's this JSON format. And in there we will call the class, name class. And the class is, if you go back in here, class is this one right here. Okay. If you double click, by the way, you can also copy the content in here. It's pretty simple like that. And we're copying that class in there. If I paste it right there, it's JSON format inside attributes. This will automatically find the division in here, the portion in here. And that from there on, I will be only focusing on that part because the rest of the information, I'm not interested in that. Okay. So that is also done. Okay. So let me ask you a question at this point. We're scrapping data from an e-commerce site and we're scrapping the data about items, right? So what kind of information would you be interested in an e-commerce website, for example? Oh, there's a question, by the way. I just saw it. While you think about my question. The text I copied, are you talking about this portion right here? Suleiman? Okay. Yes. Yes. There. Okay, so yes, I had a question actually. So what kind of information are we looking for in an e-commerce website, for example, in this situation? What kind of information in here I need? Great. So price, definitely. Maybe pictures, yeah. Shipping information, exactly. The name, right? If I do not know the name, what price is it? So I will also need that. Yes, that's information like I'm interested in. So for that, I will create some lists where we can store those information as soon as we gather them from the web, okay? Then we will put them to a table and we will visualize them in a table. But before I do that, I will put them in a list so that things are a little bit more tidy. Can you divide your screen two part, please? Okay, do you want me to divide it as web browser and then the editor? Okay. can close this actually. We'll need that later on. And we can do it like this, but this might be a little small in the web part. Which one is better? Let me ask you guys. This one or previous one? Do I keep going like this or the previous visuals were better? Like this? Okay, let's continue like this. All right. What is the difference between attributes, classes are people, blah, blah, and class SRP result? The second one you are talking about, I'm not really sure if it works like that. We can also test that, but this is a JSON format right here. The one you're talking about is not a JSON format actually. That might also be working. But technically, the difference between them is that the one you're showing is not in JSON, and the one I did in here is in JSON. Okay. So next up, the stuff that I've just mentioned, we need some lists to store the information that we're pulling from the website. As soon as we pull them, we would like to store them in places. And for that, we use lists in Python, right? I will create a couple lists in here. One for titles. One for prizes. Shipping information. And one for URL. And this is going to be where I store each item's page's URL. So when you click it, it's the URL that appears in here. Okay. That's I will be storing in here. Any questions so far? Okay. So let's then keep going. This is the most important part. We're going to be doing that part right now. In this part, we're going to be extracting the information, gathering the data right now. This is the actual scraping part. This was like the stuff to do before you start scrapping. Now we can actually exactly start scrapping. So what we will do is here I can actually ask this to you. We're going to be gathering information from a list, right? List of items, actually. So we're going to be going through stuff one by one. What kind of code block would I need for that in Python? I want to go through stuff one by one. What would that be? There's a list, and I would like to do stuff on the items in that list one by one for each one of them. For each one of them. Yes, exactly. For each, that would be C#. So the right answer is for loop. So both of you got the right answer. Exactly. I will need a for loop, right? So what I will do right in here is I will tell Python to go through each one of these items one by one. And what are those items? If you go back to the HTML code in here, of course, we have to speak in HTML to specify those items. So if we go back here, have to make that bigger so that it appears. Again. Is it this one? Yes. Okay. As you can see, items in here are lists, and they have the class S item and then a lot of spaces next to it. Okay. So we're going to tell Python to go over each division in here with which has the type list and which has the class as item and spaces. Okay, we will tell it to do that. And how that is done is in this manner. Let me show it here. We say for items in everything. In our case, it's the UL. So for each item in the UL, remember what was UL? It is the whole thing in here. It's this one right here, right? The whole items list. So for items in the whole items list, but uh, inside that also we would like to find stuff. So for example, uh, I don't need this portion right here, right? What is that, for example? Let's check that out. Yes, this portion right here, where it says price under 15, 1535. That part also is included in that UL, but I don't actually need that. So I will specify all these stuff right, the ones that start with li and which have the class as item. So I call find all for that. Otherwise, it would go through each and every tag in there. And after that, I say uh, the type again, just read it in the find, and then I'll do attributes, class, and in our case, class is as item. And don't forget the bracket. So as I specify this now will obtain all the LIS items under that. Okay. So actually, this is the most of the stuff done, right? Now this for loop for me will go through each and every item in there. This one, this one, this one, this one by one. It will go through all of them because that's what we have specified in here. And while going through them, we would like to gather information from them, right? Or from each one of them, we would like to gather certain information. So now it's time to do that under this for loop. So for example, it will pick this red one right here, and what should it do with that red one, okay? And once it picks it in Python, the items, this thing that we have called items in here, for that instance, it becomes that item that it picked for that moment. So we will tell it to gather some information from items. I'm talking about this items right here. So let me show it to you. We'll do it like this. We will say items. So in this case, for example, I am specifying the item that the for loop is going through at that point. And let's say at that point, at a given time, it is the red one. Okay, it's just the beginning. So I will say items, so the red one. And inside that, I would like to find some information again, right? Let's go inside that red items information, red shorts information. And there, for example, I'm looking for the name, and there, see? It is a data track, and next to it we have a JSON format again, and inside that JSON format we have the name. And also, please let me do that. Also, there should be a header, which I cannot see right now, which has only the name for the item. Can anybody see that? Is it in here? No, that's the image tag. Okay, that adds item information. Okay, right there. Under a data track, under that we have the header and name for the item. Okay. And there also you can see the URL that we're going to be gathering. Also that's there. That's on data track href information. So right now, if I'm looking for the name, if I'm looking for the title, it's this tag right here. So I would like to obtain that tag. And can anybody tell me how am I going to do that? We have actually done that before. We have extracted certain tags with their names and classes and etc. What should I use to find that out? To have access to specifically to this tag in here. What methods should I use? Soap.find, exactly. Items in this case is my soap item, which only has the li items. And inside that, from that soap item, I will call find. And I will call find with the information of this tag right here. Okay. Let's do that. It's an H3. And as attributes, we have class, s, item. Is that a double underscore? It seems like. Let's copy that. Seems like a double underscore. Yes, it's double underscore, and it will be like that. And also, I want to do dot text in here because I don't want it as a beautiful soap item. Okay, I don't want it as a beautiful soap object, so I convert it to text. And what that will do is it will extract the text of that beautiful soap item. So it will basically get rid of h3 class as item title, blah, blah, blah in here, and also the closing tag. It will only obtain this text in here once you do dot text to the beautiful soap item. Any questions so far? No? Okay. All right. So next up, let's obtain the price. So let's find price in here. So as you can see, thanks to this UI spec of HTML and inspect of Google Chrome especially, when you hover over the content, HTML content, it actually shows you the content in here. So it's quite easy to find stuff you're looking for in HTML. I mean the visual stuff you're looking for in HTML, because as you hover over it, it basically shows you. And if you go one by one, for example, this is a wider, broader HTML tag in here. You go inside that, and inside that, you can directly find the price. This is the price right here. And right there, I found the tag I'm looking for. Okay. So I will now reach out to that using the class and using the type of it, which is span. Let's copy this in here. Change this to span and this to as item price. And of course, don't forget to convert it to text. Okay, next up, shipping information. Fine, actually we can directly copy it and do the same. From now on, it's basically the same thing, repetition of this line right here with the information, with the accurate information for that specific information. And in this case, for shipping information, it will be, let's see. Yes, free international shipping. Let's get that one. Is it that one I got in the article? Yes, it's that one. So you could have also gotten this one, for example, from where it is shipped. But not all items have that information, I think. Do they? Yes, they actually do. So you can also use that. In our case, let's continue. Let's stick with free price of the shipping, actually. So in that case, it will be span and it will be this class right here. Copy that. And paste. It seems that we will append them to the blank list we have created earlier. Yes, exactly. We will do that. As soon as I obtain all of them, I will add them to the list that we have created. Actually, we can start doing that right now. How we will do that is we can directly append it from here, but just for following this stuff on article step by step, What I did in here, I saved them into variables like this. Each stuff, each information that I obtain, I saved them to the variables, and then I have added them to the list. You can do it like that, or directly you can do it like this. Titles dot append, and then inside that bracket, you can put this right. That's two ways to do it. Let's now go the same way I did in the article. Price and shipping. After we gather all the information, we will push all of this information to the list. And next, let's obtain the URL, copy this, prices here, thank you. Okay. It seems like the rest is correct and we don't have a typo. So let's now find the URL to that, which we have already found right here. Okay, we're looking for that. Yes, and we don't have either. Thank you for that. And yes, it is this one right here. The URL is in there, right? So we have to obtain the information from that. And how we will do that is we will do items.find a, because the type of it is a. And then inside that a, we will get the href portion of it. Okay. And how that is done is a little bit more different. So it's done like this. We will do in here. This is the same. But after that, we will do say href. We'll set that to true. And we will say at href in, okay. That should be a text. And once you do that, it will also obtain the href in there. This URL right here. Okay. Okay, I can send the code to the chat, but it might be badly formatted, so watch that out. Indentation might be broken. So let me send it publicly. No, these don't have to have S's, by the way, because I'm just getting the values in there. Afterwards, I will push them to the lists. So that's why I don't have the plural S's in there. So these are different from these in here. I sent the code to the chat. If you have missed anything, you can copy it from there. So that you can catch up quickly. And any other questions do you have? Okay. So let's do a quick wrap up before we go for a break. We had 3 minutes for the break, so let's not continue with the rest and do a quick wrap up in here, and then we will continue after we come back from the break. So what we have done so far is we found ourselves a target which we would like to scrap data out of, and it was eBay, and it was men's sports shorts list in our case. We prefer to scrap that, and we saved that in here as a link. We sent the request to obtain the HTML content in here, and we obtained it using requests.get, and we sent that get request to the link that we have saved. We saved the my content. This saves my content as a string, so it is actually formatted in a way that is not useful. So we format that in a better way using Beautiful Soap library, which helps us find the tags and divisions in here quickly. So we converted to Beautiful Soap object, the content that we have obtained, the HTML code. And that's how we do it. My content, dot content, comma, HTML parser. So that's, we are saying Beautiful Soap that this is an HTML code and parse it in HTML format. Finally, in here, saying the UL, we have narrowed our HTML code into the portion that we are interested in. Okay, saying this, it's only it basically cut the unwanted parts out and gave us the part that we wanted, which is let me bring this back, which is this part where the items are presented. Okay, for example, the filters here, I don't want them, or the search bar in here, I don't want it, right? So I just focused on this part in here, and I obtained that part using this line of code right here, where I specify the type of the tag that has that specifies that division, and the attributes of that tag, which is this class right here. After obtaining that, I prepared some lists for the information that I wanted to gather. And in the future, I plan to add my information into there, which I will be gathering in this for loop. I will be adding those information into here. That's the next step that we're going to be doing after we come back from the break. And in here inside the for loop, I went through all of the li items inside that UL that I have previously obtained. I went through all of them one by one. Actually, I told Python to go through them one by one. And while going through them one by one, I gathered information from them, such as their title, price, shipping information, and URL. Okay. And right now it is just obtaining that information and removing that information. It's, for example, gets the information of the first item in here to the title, and then it gets the next one, and then it gets this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. But it just removes them, and it doesn't record them right now. Next step is to have them recorded. Each time I obtain it, I will push it to the list and then keep going with the next item. That's what I'm going to be doing. So before we start, do you have any questions about the first portion of our tutorial? All right, just following. Okay, sounds good. Okay, now we will continue with adding our extracted information, scraped information into our lists in here. Okay. So we will add this title to the titles list, price to the prices, shipping to the shippings, and URL to the URLs list. That's pretty much what we need to do. The only thing we need to do inside this for loop from now. So, okay, so there's also one thing I do in here. Let's also do that. So as you can see, let me show an example to you. Yes, some of these prices, some of the prices of the items, uh, first of all, they have this dollar sign in the beginning, okay? All of them have a dollar sign in the beginning, and I don't want that. We don't want that dollar sign because when sorting it in a list, that dollar sign will cause us problems and it won't be able to sort it accordingly. So I don't want that. And other than that, yeah, I basically want the rest of the price. That's the main problem and the only problem we have with the price is that it has a dollar sign in the beginning. And when sorting the numbers, that will cause us problems. So I would like to get rid of that. So let me do that. What we will say in that case is we will tell it to take all the values starting from the first index up until the sixth index, okay? And this number 6 in here, I set that from the values in here, okay? So there's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And also if this was more than $100, it would be 6 digits. So it's at 6 digits maximum, okay? So that's why I set it as 6. If you like, you can set it more than that. But probably it's not going to be more than 6 digits, the price I'm looking at. So that will basically be okay for me. So I will use for digits from 1 to 6 to get rid of the dollar sign. And after that, we can now append all the values to the corresponding lists. And this is how that is done. We tell the name of the list, and then we say append, and then we say what we would like to append to that list. Else append URL. Okay. So let's go through this for loop again. This for loop goes through each and every one of these items one by one, and then it extracts the title, price, shipping, and URL from one particular item. After that, it formats the price so that we get rid of the dollar sign in the beginning, and then it adds those information to the corresponding list. So the title information that we have obtained, it adds that to the titles list. Price information, it adds that to the prices list. Shipping to the shipping, then URL to the URLs. That's what we do. And when we are going to convert these to the tables, you will note that all the information in the first index of the lists belongs to the first item. All the information in the second index of the lists belongs in the second. It belongs to these. Typo in price, let's check it out. I can't see it. Prices, price. Ah, okay, thank you. Let's also save our file. Okay, so we're mostly done. We have all the information, we've gathered it. If I run the code like this, and then, for example, call titles at 0 and ask Python to print it, it will print the summer man's swimming short here. So it's mostly done. But what I want to have is I would like to have all the data organized. And I would like to be able to use it, maybe plot a graph out of it, or maybe I would like to find the cheapest short, or I don't know, maybe I want to make searches with the name with my own list, which is created by me. And you might ask, by the way, why would you want to scrap data from e-commerce website? For example, if you are looking for the cheapest version of a particular item, cheapest list of that particular item on the web, there are a lot of different websites, right? There's Etsy, there's eBay, there's Amazon. So there are a lot of different websites. One thing you could do, you could scrap data from all of these websites one by one and create your own list, which has all the information about all of these items from all of these different websites, and then you can find the cheapest one among them, for example. Normally, for example, eBay wouldn't tell you that the cheapest one is not being sold by them and it's being sold by Amazon. It wouldn't say that. But using your own list, you could, for example, do that. You can think of this as an introductory to doing that. If you learn the basics, the next step basically will be doing that and utilizing this web scraping skills into your daily life, pretty much. Okay, so let's now add these to the, convert these to the list, convert this to a CSV actually. And the CSV format means a format which can be viewed as table. It could be Excel table, it could be Google Sheets table, but the fundamental format of that is CSV, and you can visualize CSV with Apple's numbers, Microsoft Sheets, or Google's spreadsheet, Microsoft's Excel. Okay, so let's do that. For that, we will use this pandas library that we have previously imported. Pandas, that's what basically it does. It converts list data into table. And we will now see how to use that. This is also a library that a lot of data scientists love and use a lot. Now, convert our stuff to data frames and tables. So we call this method called data frame from PD. Remember, we imported our pandas library as PD previously, so we can refer to it as PD. So we call PD, and from that we call data frame. This will convert our stuff into data frame. Data frame is like a table again, but it's not in CSV format or in any format in particular. It's still in Python format. It's in pandas format. It's inside Python still, but I would like to convert this into a CSV file. I would like to generate a file out of this data frame format. First, I will create the data frame, and then from that data frame, I will obtain my file, my CSV file, which I can visualize in VS Code, numbers, and whatever program you want to use. And this is how it is done. We set the names of the columns like this. For that name, I will call it. And then next to it, we put the list. Okay, so this is the name of the column, and this is the items that are going to be appearing in that column. In my case, it is the title. So under product names, titles will appear. And yes, price, we have prices. Let me actually completely copy this part because I think you got the idea pretty much. For every item, for every list I will have this. And also it has to be in JSON format. So there's curly brackets. I also forgot that. Yes, it's going to be like this. Let me make this big also. Okay, so what I did in here is these are the names of the columns, and these are the items that are going to be listed in that column. So in the product name column, we will have titles listed in there. So that those are the items inside my titles list, which are the names of the items that I have. In prices, it will be the prices, and shipping information, it will be shippings, and in URL column, it will be URLs. Okay, this will create the table for me. And now this table, I want to convert it to a CSV so that I can see it and I can visualize it. So let's now do that. And that's a couple words, basically. We use this to CSV method for our PD item, for our data frame item. If you do to CSV on the data frame, it converts it to CSV, and you have to call a name for it. I will call it prices.csv. And there you have it. Our web scraping program is pretty much ready. Now we can test it. This will create, this by the way, this CSV file right here, by the way, will be created into the directory where I run this code. So it will be here, right next to my main PY. Once I run it, we will see that it will be there. You're back. Okay. Now let's make sure that we don't have any indentation errors or typos in our code. I will skim through it quickly. If we have an error, we will see it right after we run it. But hopefully we don't have any. Okay, it seems like it's clean. Let's run it. I do Python 3 main.py, and yes, we actually have a problem. What is that? Line 19. For items, what does it say? To the next bracket? No. Oh, okay. I forgot. Oh, okay. Let's try that again, and it seems like it is running. By the way, right now, as you can see, we cannot see anything on the terminal For debugging purposes, and yeah, we got an error. We will fix that. But for debugging purposes, you can print stuff in here. For example, you can print, let's say, the title. Okay, so if you do it like this, it will print all the title names to the terminal. So to debug, you can do that to make sure that it is obtaining the title. For example, you can print it on the terminal. Let's get back to our error in here. And what is it saying? Line 23. Oh, okay. So yeah, this is the it worked on your Jupyter notebook. Okay. Uh, Actually, this should not be working because the mistake I made in here is that I tried to convert this into text, but actually this is already a string. Okay. This, unlike these right here, this is not extracted as a beautiful SOAP object. When you do it like this, so you find the item and then you do at href. Once you do that, it's already obtained as a string. So you don't have to do this dot next. That's why it was complaining. So let's try that again. If it works, we will see yes. And there you go. See, all the item names are printed on the terminal, as you can see, as I had the print title. And if you go to the prices CSV in here, you can see that we have all the information we needed about all of the items in that particular page. And if you want to visualize it better, actually VS Code also allows you to do that. You go double click on that and click on open preview. It, as you can see, shows you it in the table format. So you have all the information we were looking for. For example, I want the cheapest one. I could click on ascending and there I have the cheapest one. And now I can use the table however I want and however I want to interpret the data. Okay, here's a question, I think. We can call the dataset by, yeah, exactly. We can do it like that as well. Other than converting it to CSV and previewing it like that, we can also use pandas read CSV and then head. Do we want to remove the $sign from shipping? Let me go back to the website. So in the shipping, is there a $sign actually? Oh, you're talking about this one right here, right? You're talking about this $sign in here. Here, I'll copy the code to the chat. So go back to the CSV. Yeah, I see. So you're talking about this right here. So you're talking about getting rid of this plus $sign and also this rest of the text, right? To be able to sort it. You're talking about. Yeah, of course you can do that. If you do it like this, let's actually do it. Let's get back to our code. Just we did in the price. You can do it like this. That's a good point actually, because you might want to sort it with its shipping attribute and shipping price. So if you do shipping gets shipping at, let's start from the second index because we also have that plus sign. But if you do it like that, the problem we would encounter would be this actually. Let me also show that to you. Some of them, for example, don't have the plus and $sign, but it says, for example, free international or shipping not something something. Let me make this bigger so that we can read. Shipping not specified. So if I choose to remove the first two indexes, this will appear IPING not specified, or this will appear E international shipping, and etc. So you might want to do a conditional in there. Yes, exactly. For example, you could check if there's a plus sign in the beginning of that particular price. If there's a plus sign, delete the first two indexes, else convert that to a null or a dash or a zero, whatever you like. Yeah, we could do that. Somebody already sent the code. Thank you for that. Okay, so what Patricia was asking is actually this. Let me also show it to you, and let's actually do it because we have plenty of time left before we finish. Let's also add that to our project. In here, we have, let me go back to the CSV. In our shipping prices part, we can right now, we cannot sort it. Okay, let's try to sort it. For example, if I do ascending, as you can see, $3 is below $15. Okay, because the sorting in here is actually random because all of these are the same, plus and dollar sign, all of them are the same, and this is not sorted correctly because of the plus and dollar sign, and also the shipping next to them, and etc. So if we get rid of this plus and dollar sign and this shipping word in here, we will be able to sort our stuff depending on their shipping price. If we want to do that, we have to get rid of the plus and dollar sign. But what will happen is the F and R or S and H in these sentences in here will also be removed, and it will look ugly. And what we have decided in that point is that we will convert all of these free international shipping and shipping not specified to a dash or a null or a zero. And then we will only remove the plus and dollar sign and shipping word in the ones that actually have a shipping price. So that's what we will do in here. Let's do that quickly. So for that purpose, I will check if shipping at index 0 has a dollar sign or not. Just my dollar sign. Right. And if it has a dollar sign, I will convert my shipping to shipping at index 2 until, let's check that, count it, from index 2 up until 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 will be enough. Let's actually do 6 so that it's one above, and that's just a space in there, and then that won't cause any problems. Yes, we need double equals mark. Exactly. Thank you for that. And else, so if there's if you don't have a dollar sign, what we will do is we will convert shipping to let's say a dash. Okay. Let me delete my existing CSV and check if we have any errors in the code. Seems like it's clean, and this is not needed anymore. Okay. So if there's a dollar sign, I will obtain the price only the number. And if there isn't a dollar sign, I will convert the whole thing into a dash, and then it will appear like that. And this will make it a lot easier to sort it depending on the price. And here I forgot the colon again. There's a question in the chat. Would it be beneficial to create a column with price plus shipping? Yes, that would definitely make sense, I think. Yeah, I think we could also do that. Let's test this one, and then let's also add that. Python 3 main.py. I forgot to save. And we obtained it. Check it out. What did we do wrong? Oh, I should have actually said plus. It's not a dollar sign in the beginning. Let me show it to you again. It's actually a plus first and then a dollar sign. So I should have said a plus in here. I fixed that. Any other thing we have to be careful about? I don't know. Let's test that again. Also, let's delete CSV so it doesn't create any confusions. Okay. Oh, we still don't have it. Why is that? Can you guys see it? Instead of printing it in here, let me print it in here. Let's check if it goes inside that if statement or not. And it actually does go inside it. Oh, okay. I also have it. Great. Was that the previous? I mean, that was probably the obsolete CSV that we had from the previous guy. Now we have the correct one. Great. As you can see now, if I want to, what does this do? Yeah, let me order it from here. If I order it by descending, oh, okay. The dashes confuse it. So instead of dashes, I have to say 0. Let's put 0 instead of that. The dashes confuse it again and results with a wrong sorting. Try that again. Let's see, what do we have here? I have dashes again. And this is kind of a bug, I think. It's the obsolete CSV is showing to me right after I save my code. Let's run it again. Okay, right there we have it. It's now 0. And now if I do it ascending, as you can see, it is the correct sorting. Descending, now it's the correct sorting. Also, Patricia said if we can add a column where we add price and shipping, and the answer is obviously yes. Let's also do that. Here we add a new list for that. Actually, let me ask you the question. What steps should I do for that? Can you guys answer that? So what should I do? I want to have a new column where I add up the price and the shipping price, and I would like to display that in there. What is the very first step that I have to go through? So for each column, I had a list in the beginning, right? So I had a list for titles, list for prices, shipping, and euro. These are actually the columns in my table. So yeah, exactly. I have to create a total cost, or whatever you want to name it, create a total cost list for that. And as a next step, what should I do? It's something to be done inside the for loop. I have my list. I have the information needed, which is the price and shipping information. Yes, Suleiman, also that's a way to go. Yes, and Ismail's answer is another way to go. And that's the way I'm going to do right here, right now. I will calculate the individual prices one by one, the total price, and I will append it to our list. So what I will do is I will do a total price in here, total price. Let's do this total costs, and let's do this one total costs. And I will set that to, I will also have to convert it into an integer. It's string right now, remember. I will convert it to integer, and I will do it in here. Integer price plus integer. In fact, I have to do it in here because I have to have the format of the shipping that we have changed. I need that one. So convert integer shipping. Okay, that should be it. I will have that total cost, and now I will have to append that to my total costs list. And finally, I will have to add that to my CSV, to my data frame, and then from there it will be added to my CSV. And I will say total cost for my name, and as the content, I will have total cost. Just like that. Okay. Do you have any typos, any mistakes, anything you can see? Seems like it's clean. You saved it. You wrote cost, not costs in the previous code. Where is that? Can you specify the line? Actually, we have another error in here, line 39. Oh, okay. So yeah, we have to convert it to a float because we also have floating point numbers, right? Such as this one right here. Actually, all of them are floating point numbers, I think. So let's convert it to float and not integer. Line 39, you wrote cost, not cost. Okay, so this should be cost method actually, because this is where I save the individual cost of that particular item. And then I append it to the list. It's like these ones in here. For example, this one was title. Here I had the individual title, and then I added that title to the titles. This is the total cost version of that. Here I will save the total cost of that particular item, and then at the bottom in here, I will add it, append it to the list. The error we got, by the way, was complaining that price is a floating point number, so that it would not be able to convert it to integer. So we will convert it to a floating point number. Again, and we have the results. The thing that is happening to us might be because of this. I leave this open. Maybe I have to close it. Okay, we have the total cost, as you can see. Let's sort that. 7.48, 2.76, the total is 10.24. Now we have that column also. Good job to all of you. Okay, do you guys have any questions about what we have done so far? No questions? Everything's clear? Okay, sounds great. So I hope that you can also use this in your daily life as well when you're trying to scrap information from whatever website. Don't get caught like I did when I was trying to choose my university courses. Other than that, you can really use these tools for your benefit. It was great to practice web scrapping. Thank you. It was great to practice with you guys also, for me as well. Um, we finished earlier than I expected. If you have any questions, you can ask them, as I have mentioned. Other than that, that was it for today. I will share the code with you, final code with you. Here it is. Add a couple more lines. Before I send that to you, let me read the chat quickly. Could you please share the code? Yes, I will do that with the latest changes. I will send it to the chat. I can actually send the file to you. That will be more convenient. Non-type object has no attribute text error. I have. Okay, let me check that. Is it okay? Is it the line 25? Sahinde, is it line 25? If it's line 25, you shouldn't have dot text in here.
No, it's on line 20. Let me just quick line 23rd.
23rd, okay. Okay, so the problem is probably with your class. Is this class in here correct as item price? Is it correct?
Yep. If I remove that text, so I will be able to get the CSV file, but under the shipping, it says like the span and the class name.
Are you sure all of that line is correct? But actually, go ahead and copy my line in here. I sent it to you. Oh, sorry, I sent it privately to someone. I sent it again.
Sorry, that
Copy
one
this
is for
line
third in shipping one. So let me just
Oh, it's
copy.
shipping one. Sorry. Okay, let me fix that. Okay, there you go. Please just copy mine and then paste this line to your 24th line or 23rd line. Maybe you have a minor mistake, with brackets or something like that.
No, I still have the mistake. I don't know why.
Okay, it seems like you cannot obtain that information from there, but it's the same URL. Did you check your HTML code on your Google Chrome?
I just copy what you wrote for my HTML code.
Excuse me? Can I get that again?
I just copy from the chat because I missed the first part of, and I just copy.
Oh, I see. Okay, so what I'm asking you to do is actually this. If you go inside this main content tag in here in your HTML, just right click and then do inspect. And then in the main content tag, under that, you have this UL class SRP results, SRP grid. And
Okay,
under that, we have S items in here. Can you find that?
Yeah, I will check that once.
Okay, and right after you check that, so your problem was with shippings, right? So you have to find shippings under there. So it is going to be, let's find it together. Actually, let's go back in here. Yeah, right there. So the shipping information is going to be right there under S item detail primary. So check if you can find that tag and if it has the same name in mind.
Okay, then yeah, okay, I will check that one. So
okay,
I know how to do that one. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions? I'm checking the chat. I will send the whole code. Okay, I will do that. Thank you, Ismail. Thank you for participating.